All right, so today's agenda, the app walkthrough of ApplyTexas, the Common App, and then we're gonna show you how to order an official transcript as well. Because all of those will be needed, of course, whenever you go ahead to apply, you'll need to do your application as well as ordering your transcript. Alrighty, so just a little cute meme. So confused about the transfer or the college application process. So the application process and transferring in general can kind of be a big process. So of course, luckily for you guys, you have the CAS Lab. So we are definitely here to help you through this process, make it as easy as possible. So hopefully today, by going through, we'll kind of provide that for you. So a couple of steps before you start your application. So of course, you're going to want to know your transfer application requirements, so such as like your GPA, the courses that you'll need. You also want to know majors. So most students, they kind of have their first choice major in mind. So you're actually going to want to have your second and your possible third choice. Most schools will ask that you do put that into the application. So it's a good idea to explore multiple options. For just in case you do not get into your first choice, they will see if you can get into your second and then possible third choice. And then of course, the CAS Lab, right? So we have a lovely website that has transfer guides from all the universities or most of the universities in Texas. Those are very helpful. They'll let you know specifically what classes you can take at Lone Star that will transfer to the college and the major of your choice. So definitely explore that website if you haven't yet. Also speak to a CAS Lab transfer advisor. So of course they have myself, Danielle, and then they also have Jordan, who's also in our CAS Lab as well. And then they have Miss Christina, who can also help you with the transfer process as well. And as the CAS Lab, if you follow us on Instagram, we do offer a lot of information sessions for the different universities. If not, you can also go onto our CAS Lab webpage, and they have the calendar of events there that you can see the events that are happening. And Miss Christina just plugged our Instagram, thank you, in the comments. So if not, you can go ahead and give us a follow. That way, you know, you can see all the events that are happening, as well as we give information on career and other transfer tips as well. So the little tip at the bottom, we get this question a lot as transfer advisors. So when should I start the application process? So generally, we're going to advise you to start the application process the semester before you plan on transferring. And then even then, depending on the school that you apply to, you may even need to start the process a little bit earlier. But a good rule of thumb to follow is, of course, the earlier the better. So you'll get, you know, the classes that you want, more access to financial aid, things like that. So definitely the earlier the better when you're applying. Okay. And so what is the ApplyTexas and Common App? So both of these applications are used for students when they are planning to transfer to a four-year university. Of course, I think as Ms. Christina mentioned, generally the transfer app, or sorry, the ApplyTexas is going to be for Texas universities, and the other ones are, the Common App is going to be for other universities, such as like private schools like Rice uses the Common application. So just some items or information that you'll kind of need to know before you complete the application is going to be your biographical information. So you're going to need your social security number, your family's education level, income, and then other items that you'll see when we walk through the application. You also want your residency information, educational background, extracurricular and volunteer activities, and employment information as well. And so this is the difference that I just pointed out with the ApplyTexas and the Common App. So of course, ApplyTexas is going to be for the university in Texas. ApplyTexas is kind of for most of the private schools that will kind of use that, and then some in other countries. We are seeing more universities that are kind of trying to use the Common App since it is more of a universal application. And also some schools, also you may want to check, have their own application as well that you can apply through. Alrighty, so we are going to go ahead and go to the ApplyTexas application, and then I'll go ahead and walk you through step by step. So just bear with me just one moment, and if you have any questions, make sure that you drop them in the chat.
I'm just going to quickly plug our latest video on our YouTube channel. I just dropped our handle in the chat. It's hilarious. We crack ourselves up. We can't help ourselves. Okay, that's it. Let me go.
Yes, go watch it. It was definitely an interesting experience to, do a little acting. I do not envy their jobs. But so here we have the ApplyTexas application. So it's applytexas.org. And when you get to this screen, you have two options. So if you have not created an account, you would just click create an account and you would enter in your basic information in here. So of course, you're going to have things like your name. So you would do your first and last name and then middle name if you would like to put that. Of course, you're going to have your date of birth. You need to know your place of birth, your current grade level. If you are a U.S. citizen or not, of course, you would click yes or no. And then if you click no, there is additional information that you would need to enter in there. After that, of course, you're going to want your email address. So this email address, you can use your Lone Star. Generally, we will advise that you use a personal email address. Sometimes even students create emails specifically for when they're trying to apply to Texas or apply to colleges. So you'll have just an address, an email address specifically for colleges. That way you don't get an influx when you're applying into your regular email. You can just create an account and it'll be specifically for college applications, like your financial aid, things like that. You're definitely going to want an email there where you can check regularly. Okay. So you're also going to want to put your permanent address and also your physical address. Of course, if it's the same for your permanent and physical, you do not have to fill out that part. You're going to want to put in your phone number as well as some emergency contacts. And then you also have your ethnicity and race. And if you need to, you can definitely check multiple boxes, all the ones that kind of apply to you there. Okay. Then your gender and then your password. So you would enter all that in and then you would just save the profile. For the purposes of today, we already have an account, so we're just going to go ahead and log in. So when you create an account, it's very important that you do save your login information in case you do need to log back in and edit any information on your application. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. All right, so this is going to be your dashboard. So the first tab is going to be your My Profile, and this will be the information that you entered whenever you created your account. So for instance, if you entered something that is not correct, you can go back in here and you can edit it. The tab that you'll probably use the most often is going to be this My Application tab. At the top, you'll have the View Application List, Start a Blank Application, or Copy an Existing. So whenever you first come in, of course, you will start a new application. For instance, let's say that you already applied to one school and then you want to apply to another, but you don't want to go through and type all of the information again. Then you would click on the Copy an Existing Application, and you would just click on the application that you want to copy the information from, and it will put it into a new application for the other school that you want to apply for. You also have the option to just start a blank application. And when you first come in, of course, you won't already have one. So you can just click on create a new 4-year university. application, and that will take you to the application. So let's say that you've started your application. This is what it would look like. So I'll have, of course, the ID, last day you updated it, institutional information, semester that you planned on applying, and then the deadline. Okay. And this action portion over here, you can either edit it, you can copy it, as I mentioned earlier, you can delete it. So if you start the application and then you decide, okay, well, no, I decided I don't want to apply there, or maybe you just want to apply for another semester, then you can go ahead and delete it if it hasn't already been submitted. And the last action is going to be submit. Okay. For the purposes of today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to edit the application. Alrighty. Whenever you do first start out, as I mentioned, they are going to ask you for your major choices. So for instance, on this one, the first choice that I did was a pretty popular major, so it's going to be business. And then for my second choice, I went ahead and went with engineering. Okay, so just remember you are going to need a second choice and possibly a third choice whenever you apply. Generally, after you select your major and the college that you want to apply to, some of them may have some additional information here. So here it says, okay, well, you can go and look at our admission requirements to make sure that you're really ready to apply. Okay. So here it's going to be kind of some of the same information that you did when you created your profile, and that will copy over so you won't have to re-enter that information. But there is additional information that you would need to put, for instance, your social security number. So you need to enter your social security number here. It's good for if you plan on doing financial aid. This will link your application to your financial aid. That way that they can process whenever you send in your FAFSA. Okay. Another important thing to note, your full legal name. So if your name is Catherine, you would want to put your whole full name there, okay? You don't want to put like Cat or a nickname or anything like that in this portion. But if your name is Catherine and you go by Katie or Cat, then you can put your preferred name here. And then of course you have your place of birth and then this other information that we entered, such as your address, phone number, emergency contact, things like that. Here you will need to know your family's educational background, at least have an idea. So you can kind of enter that in. So it does have the option mother, father, stepfather, guardian, or other adult. Then you can just put the level of their education in there. Okay. And of course, if you are unsure, then they do have that unknown in there as well. All right, and so they do have this option. So if you were in foster care, then you can go ahead and put yes or no. If you do put yes, they will ask if you wanted some information about financial aid and things like that that will aid you if you were in foster care in Texas. All right, and so for this one is going to be if you speak any other languages. Okay. So this is going to be fluent. Okay, so this is not, I know a couple of words. This is going to be, I can hold a conversation with a person in this language. Okay, so they have a long list of different languages that you can choose from. Then you would put years that you spoke that language over there on the side. Okay, so they also have your family income. So this is good to kind of have an idea. As I mentioned in the PowerPoint, to have an idea of what your family's income is. And they do have the option to put unknown if you really are unsure about that. Alrighty, so this portion here, this is probably where we get most of our questions about the student unsure what to put in this section. So it says you are applying as a transfer admission applicant. Then it has these 3 check boxes that you could check if any of these apply to you. So it says, I have a bachelor's degree. I am seeking a second bachelor's degree, or I am applying as a non-degree seeker. So if you are at Lone Star and you have not graduated with your bachelor's yet, and let's say you're just graduating graduating with your associates or you have a couple of credits. And, technically, none of these would apply to you. This first one is if you already have your bachelor's. The second one is if you have your bachelor's and you're looking to pursue another bachelor's. And the third one is for non-degree seeking students. So say if you just wanted to take a couple of courses, then you would check that one. And then also this section here. So it says, how many hours have you earned? So generally we get a question on this a lot from students as well. They kind of want to know, well, how do I find this? Like, where is the information at? So I will actually stop sharing my screen so I can share with you exactly how you would go about finding this. So bear with me just 1 second. And of course, if you have any questions, don't forget to drop them in the chat. Right. So this is going to show you exactly where you go to find that information. And so the reason that I recommend a student to pull up their unofficial for 2 reasons. Of course, you would be able to answer that question on your application. And secondly, it's good for a student to know how to find this and also to be able to access it so that they have a copy for themselves as well. Okay. So whenever you log into your My Lone Star account, go to the student tile and the academic record tile, and it'll lead you here. So on the side, it's going to say view unofficial transcript. You would click on that, and then it'll have this option for you to do a drop-down arrow. So you're going to click on CR unofficial. So that's your credit unofficial transcript. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and click submit over here. After you hit submit, it will pull up your information. So it'll show, that you've created this report for the unofficial transcript. And so you'll click the check spot and then you'll click view report. So if you click view report and nothing happens, then that probably means you have the pop-up blocker up on your computer. So sometimes it'll kind of get caught. So just make sure that you allow it in the pop-up blocker. That way that your unofficial transcript can show up. So then once you have your unofficial transcript pulled up, what exactly are you looking for? So there will be 2 things. So there'll be your term total and your cumulative total. Okay? So what you're going to be looking for is your cumulative total. You're going to be looking for the number that you earned. Okay? So this number here is going to be the number that you enter into your application. Okay? And so when you're looking at this, you're going to be looking at your latest semester. That way you can kind of see all of the courses, because of course if you look in like your first semester, that won't be all of the credits that you've earned. So you want to go to your latest semester, you want to look cumulative and then under earned. Okay? And so that is going to be what you would enter on your application. Okay? So we are going to go ahead and come back over to the application. Thank you, Christina, for answering the questions. Bear with me just 1 second. There we go. Alrighty, so now that you have went to your My Lone Star and you have found out the number of how many credits you have, you will go ahead and enter that right in here. Okay. Make sure you keep that number handy because there will be another area where you would need to input that in. Okay. The next section is going to be for high school. So here you're going to enter the information of your high school. And so in order to do this, you'll go ahead and you'll go ahead and search. So for instance, we'll just do a quick search. So we'll put in, for instance, Spring High. And then we'll put in that it's in the US and that it's in Texas. And then we'll go ahead and submit. And then you'll have a list of the schools. And so you'll just select whichever school you graduated from. That information will populate down here. Okay. So you're also going to need to input your expected graduation date or the date that you graduated from high school. Okay. And so say, for instance, you did not graduate from a high school. In that case, they have the question that if you graduated from homeschool, and you would click yes here. And so since you didn't technically have a high school name that would be listed here, you would go ahead in there and you would do find your high school, and then you would type in homeschool, and that will populate information in there for you. Okay. Also have the option if you completed your GED. So if you did, you would just put yes, and then you would just need that information for your GED, and you would enter that here. Alrighty, so this section here, so this is going to be for all the colleges that you have attended. So if you've attended anywhere other than Lone Star, then you would need to enter that information here. Okay. And so I'll just go ahead and show you really quick how to search for Lone Star. So on the school name, we just type in Lone Star. And then of course we're going to do US, and then we're going to do Texas again. And then normally I just hit submit. So be careful whenever you do search for Lone Star. There are going to be two options. So there's going to be Lone Star Continuing Education and Lone Star College System. Sometimes we have students and they're like, oh, well, I went to North Harris. So for the purpose of this application, they're going to do Lone Star as a whole system, not each individual campus. So you'll just click Lone Star College System there. And then the next little part that you're going to put is the dates that you started attending. So the dates that you started, and then the date that you are going to attend to. So say you're doing the application now, but you plan to graduate in May. You would just go ahead and enter that date in, even though technically it hasn't come yet. They just want to know until what date do you plan on attending Lone Star. So here you're going to have that number that I mentioned earlier that you found on your unofficial transcript. So you go ahead and input that. If for some reason you don't have that handy, you can just easily scroll back up and look for 52, and then you would just enter that back here. So the next portion is going to be the degree earned or expected. So if you plan on graduating from Lone Star with an associate's, which we hope you do, you would enter that information in here. So you would put your degree earned, so it would be like an Associates of Science, Associates of Arts, or for instance, if you did associates in like criminal justice or something like that, you could put that information in there. You would put the degree or the date that you're going to earn the degree. So once again, if it's in the future, so if it's like May 2021, you would put the information in here. And for the degree type, you're going to put an associate's degree there. So if you went to another university, then you would just put that other university's information here, kind of following the same steps that we just did. Just search for your information or the university and then put information there. Alrighty, so the next one is going to be for automatic admission. So if you graduated from high school and you were in the top 10% within the last 3 years, then you would want to click yes. If not, then you would just leave it as no. Depending on if you fit those requirements, you may be offered automatic admissions to some universities. And the last two questions, are you currently on academic suspension? If you are, then you would put yes. If not, you would put no. And are you a member of Phi Theta Kappa? Then you would hit yes or no there as well. So the next section is going to be your educational information. So if you plan on pursuing any of these professional programs, then you would enter this in. So nursing, pre-law, medicine, anything like that, you would enter that in. If not, then you would just leave it as none. Second one is if you plan on getting a teaching certification. So you would enter yes or no. If yes, then you would just enter what grade level it was that you planned on teaching. Alrighty, and so the next section. So this section is going to be for courses that you plan on taking before you reach the university. So for each course, say if you're currently enrolled in some courses, you would enter that here. And if you plan on taking some next semester, then you would enter that information here as well. So you would kind of follow the same steps as last time. You would search for the university, so Lone Star. And then Texas. And then once again, we're going to be careful which one we select. And we're going to select the Lone Star College system. And then you're going to enter your information for each course. So you're going to enter, for instance, the course title. For example, I put econ here. And then your course number is going to be 1301. And then you'll do your semester that you plan on taking it, as well as the credit hour. For those who don't know, in order to find your credit hour, it's going to be the second number in your course number. So for instance, if you've taken biology 1408, credit hour is going to be a 4, since the second number in that course number is going to be that 4. Okay, and so you're going to enter this for every class, okay? So all the ones that you are currently enrolled in, you would have to do that same search and enter the information in there. And then for any that you would take, for example, before you went to the university, you would enter that in here as well. And they have, I believe, 10 slots. So you have, a lot of courses that you can kind of enter in there. And this is good because this will let them know, like, okay, these are the courses that I plan on taking before I come to your university. So they'll kind of have an idea of the classes that they can expect. Okay. So the next one is going to be admission tests. So these are generally for if you did not speak English, then you would have taken some of these tests, or you may have taken some of these tests. And if you did, you would just check that you took them and enter the information that coincides with those. Okay, so the next one is going to be your residency information. So for this one, I'm going to delete it so we can see each one. Righty, so this is the residency information. So you would just read each question and kind of answer how it correlates with you. So during the 12 months prior that you were applying, did you attend a public college or university in the fall or spring? So if you attended Lone Star in the fall or spring, then you will click yes to answer this question. And you'll save and continue. Then they'll ask you, okay, well, what university was it? So then you will enter in Lone Star. Once again, looking for that Lone Star College system. And then the next one, you will check the terms that you were last enrolled. So depending on when you do the application, you can go ahead and check both if they apply. If not, you would check one. And during the last semester of a Texas public institution, did you pay in-resident or non-resident out-of-state tuition? So you would just select whichever one kind of applies to you. So resident, non-resident, or you can put unknown. And if you paid in-state tuition at your last institution, was it because you were classified as a resident or because you were a non-resident, received a waiver? So you can either put resident, non-resident with a waiver, or you can once again put unknown there as well. Okay. And so this one is going to ask you what state were you a resident of? So if it's Texas, then you can go ahead and put Texas. If not, then once again, they have the option that you can put whichever state that is. Did you live or will you have lived in Texas for 36 months leading up to high school or completion of your GED? So here you would either, once again, yes or no, depending on if you have lived 36 consecutive months. And the next question is, when you begin the semester, which you are applying, will you have lived in Texas for the previous 12 months? So once again, you would put yes or no, depending on if that fits you. Then this last one is just going to ask you, okay, you've answered all the questions. Go ahead and, double check it, make sure that you answered all of them correctly. So then you'll go ahead and look through, make sure everything is correct. If it is, then you'll go ahead and save page and continue. If not, you'll scroll all the way up to the top, and then you can delete your answers, and then you can start all over if you need to edit something. Alrighty, so the next part is going to be your extracurricular and volunteer activities. All right, so we'll scroll down so you can see what that looks like. So here you're going to want to enter information. And so this will be for your extracurricular activities. So you'll put your organization or your activity. So if you've joined a club on campus, then you can put that here as well. Description. So you would just want to put like what it is that the club is about or what you do or stand for in that club. And then you also put your activity level. So this is national, state, regional, by district, city, or local, depending on the reaches of your club. And of course, you have freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. You can indicate what year it was that you joined this club or were in this club. And for position held, you would enter that information in. So if you were just a member, then you can just put member there. Say if you were secretary, of course, you would just put secretary there. Next portion, were you elected? So yes, no, or if it wasn't not applicable, you can put that as well. Okay. So here you have your hours per week and then weeks per year. I know sometimes you may not have kept track of this, so generally you're going to just want to give a rough estimate of the hours of per week and then the weeks per year that you spent. You would do that for, say if you were in the club for 2 years, you would do that for both years and fill out both lines. Alrighty. And so then in the next one is going to be community or volunteer service. So here you're going to put your place of service. So for example, Habitat for Humanity. If you volunteered somewhere in the community, you can enter this in. Also, you have your description of your services, so what it was that you did. So if you delivered food to the elderly, then you would kind of put that in your description of the service there. You would put the number of hours that you did it for, and then the dates from and to that you were doing it. Once again, if it's in the future, you do have that option to put that later date in there. Alrighty, so the next section, so talents, awards, and honors. So any awards that you've kind of gained while at Lone Star, you can put those in here. It doesn't necessarily even have to be for Lone Star. Say if you got an outside award, you can also enter that here as well. So you'd put the award, honor, or distinction here. And then for the description, for the sponsor, you would put the information here. And then you have the year level. So freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. And then once again, you would indicate what level that award was on. So I see people asking questions in the chat. Thank you, Christina, for answering those questions. Alrighty, so next we have your employment information. So this is going to consist of employment, internships, and summer activities. So you would enter all of that information here. And then for each section, the first one is going to be your job title. So if you worked somewhere in the mall, right, then you would put, for example, sales associate, right? And so then for the next section, you would put, excuse me, exactly where it was that you worked in the mall. So you can either put like the store name, or, you know, for example, here, like they have just a grocery store. And then you will list the hours per week that you were at job or internship. Then you would put the dates here. So once again, the from date to the to date. Once again, you can put this a little into the future. And sometimes I have students and they're like, well, I'm not sure like how long I'll be working there, depending on if I get into this school or not. Generally, I'm going to say just go ahead and estimate. Kind of think about, okay, well, if I do get into this school, how likely is it that I'll be working until XYZ date? So you kind of have to think about, you know, if you plan on working throughout all of college, or it's like, okay, well, whenever I get into college, I'll go ahead and quit my job and then focus solely on school. So you have to kind of decide how long you think you'll be working there. Alrighty, and so for the next section, so this one is going to be the custom questions. So or most universities will have your custom questions that they want you to answer. But generally, they're going to ask you information about like FOSFA, reminding you that your social security number is going to be linked to your financial aid, as I mentioned earlier. So they're, of course, going to want to make you aware of that. They may ask you information about your majors. So for instance, in that third choice that I mentioned, this may be where they'll ask, okay, well, do you have a third choice that you would like to add in? So each school will kind of differ on what they have here, but each school generally will have a couple of questions that they'll have there. Okay. So this one is going to be the last page. So this is where you're going to just read over this information. And then next section is going to be for reverse transcript. Pretty much what this is say that you leave Lone Star and you have not completed your associates, say you're missing 1 or 2 classes. Then you go over to the university and you complete those courses. What you can do is you can send your transcript back to Lone Star, which is what the reverse transcript is. And Lone Star will evaluate that transcript. And if you have completed the courses that are needed for your associates, then you can apply to graduate with your associates from Lone Star. So if that's something that you would like to do, then you can hit yes or no, or not applicable. And then here, once again, they're going to give you information on financial aid as well. And then at this section, they'll tell you how much the application costs. So for example, for U of H, it's going to be $75. And if you scroll down, of course, you're just going to have your area that you can pay. So of course, you would check, you know, what your card was. You also have the option to request a fee waiver. So you would just click that if you wanted to, for instance, request a fee waiver and then hit submit. Just to note, just because you request a fee waiver does not guarantee that you will get a fee waiver. Generally, this is going to be based on your financial aid and your expected family contribution. So if you think that you qualify, then you can go ahead and click this. If for some reason you do not meet the qualifications, then you will have to pay the $75 in this example for the application fee. Okay. So then after that, you would just go ahead and click submit, and then your application is off. Of course, you can go ahead and look back over it, make sure everything's good. You can also come to the CAS lab and we can look through the application for you. If you want us just to kind of take a scan through, make sure that you entered everything right, we can also do that for you as well. And so then after you submit it, whenever you come back to your account dashboard under the action section, it will say submitted. And then after that, you will just be pretty much waiting to hear back from the school, and they'll email that information to the email address that you entered on your application. Okay. So I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen. We'll go ahead and take any questions if Christina has any. I know she's been doing an awesome job, so she's probably already answered all of them, but were there any questions, Christina, that we needed to answer?
So we did have one come in. This student asked if I don't have a second option in terms of a major, how can I know which other majors fit with the courses that I've already taken? Which is an excellent question. We get that question a lot. Because yeah, and generally in some cases, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's just a matter of, students may have started off in one direction and on one path, and then they kind of transition to another. And then before they know it, they've accumulated so many hours and they're like, I don't know what to do. And so they come to us, us, the transfer advisors, and what's the best fit given what I've already taken. So for you, that student, we're going to encourage you to visit with us or reach out to us. So like, for example, this week we're working remotely. Students can reach out to us by email and we can kind of go from there. But we're on campus every other week. And so we are seeing students again in person, as well as communicating with them remotely and even virtually, such as utilizing WebEx, for example, like we're utilizing today. So just know that if you do come to campus, we are practicing CDC guidelines. So just be advised that you'll be expected to undergo a temperature check. There'll be a health screening questionnaire. Of course, masks will be required at all times when in the building, but we love to see individuals in person. At least I'm speaking for myself. I'm not going to speak for everybody. But it does make it easier in many cases when you can have somebody kind of right there, socially distant, of course, but being able to answer and address all questions in one sitting, as opposed to going back and forth by email, or sometimes things aren't easily communicated or understood by email. Virtual is okay, but then again, kind of going back and forth sometimes isn't the ideal. But again, we're open to any and all of it. So I'm going to type in our email address in the chat feature right here, which is again nh-caslab@lonestar.edu. So again, we're working remotely this week. You can reach out to us initially by email with questions. We'll kind of go from there, but we'll be back on campus next week. If any one of you wanted to see us in person so that we can take a look at things and discuss other, related or potential options. So I posed a question because I had some students answer ahead of time whether or which universities they were considering transferring to. About half of them indicated UH or UHD. And then for the others, we're now seeing that Miss Ashley is considering Rice, Miss Jessica with the clinical laboratory science. I figured UTMD Anderson, School of Health Professions. So as Ms. Danielle mentioned, most of these institutions will utilize the ApplyTexas application. Rice, as she mentioned earlier, will utilize the Common App, which Ms. Danielle's getting ready to go through right now.
Yes, correct. And also for the student with the interested about knowing, like, for a second choice, I'm going to go ahead and plug our awesome career advisors. So if you have a career in mind and you say, okay, well, I want to be, for instance, a psychologist or something like that, right? You can come in to us and we can work with the career advisor as well to find out, okay, well, if this is their first choice major, what is maybe another degree that'll kind of get them to the career path that they want? So you can also come in and talk to us about that, and we can kind of help you to see if there's any second choice majors that will kind of also fit with your end goal as well. Alrighty, so give me just 1 second and we'll go ahead and pull up the Common App. Alrighty, there we go. So as I mentioned, the Common App is going to be pretty similar to the ApplyTexas. So you're going to have pretty much the basic information will be the same that you would enter kind of on the Common Application. I'm sorry, the ApplyTexas. So same thing here. Of course, you have the option to either log in or create an account. For the purposes of here, of course, we're going to log in, but if you didn't, you would click on create an account, and then it would say first year student transfer or the other ones, and then you would just click on transfer student. And then from there, once again, you would just enter your basic information, so your name, contact information, if you want them to be able to text, and then you would create your username and password here. Then it would just go ahead and create your account. Once again, make sure that you do keep your login information handy, where you can always log back in. So for today, we're going to go ahead and log in, and once again, we're going to select transfer student. And then I'm going to go ahead and log in. Alrighty, so this is going to be how the Common Application looks. The first step whenever you first get in is going to be to add a program. So here, once it loads, this whole list is going to be every college that utilizes the Common App. So you would just you can scroll through and kind of see which universities are using it, or if you have a specific university in mind, you can use the search feature, or they also have the filter here. Of course, you can break it down by state, college, start term, deadline, things like that. For instance, today we're just going to look for Texas really quick. Oh, there we go. And we're going to just click on Texas. All right, let me close it. So then here it'll show all the colleges in Texas that are currently utilizing the Common App. For instance, you find one that you like. So you have, Southern Methodist University. So in order to add the program, you're going to hit the little plus button. Now it is added to your program, so that means that you can go ahead and apply to that school. Say, for instance, you thought you wanted that, but then you're like, no, I really don't want to apply for that one, or maybe you want another semester. You would just click X, and it will ask you, okay, well, are you sure that you want to delete the program? If you do, then you would just click delete. Thanks, there we go. And then the main section that you'll probably spend most of your time in is going to be your application dashboard. So each one is going to be broken, or it's going to be broken into 4 sections. Pretty much, once again, the same information that you generally entered on your ApplyTexas application. Of course, you're going to have communication preferences, biographic information, contact information, citizen information. So all of these are going to be pretty much the same. When you get here, the Common App fee waiver, whereas on ApplyTexas, for each application, you had to indicate whether you either wanted to pay or you wanted to do a fee waiver. For the Common App, you only have to select it once. So say you're like, okay, I think that I'll go ahead and qualify for fee waiver no matter the school. You can go ahead and click yes or no. Once again, just remember that just because you apply for the fee waiver does not mean that you are necessarily guaranteed it. It is based off of your financial aid. So here they're going to ask you to select, okay, well, why do you think that you qualify for this fee waiver? So then you would just enter that information in there. Another thing to note, depending on when you were born, so if you were born after January 1st, 1998, then you will need to enter your parents' or guardians' information in here. If you were born, of course, before that, then you would not need to enter that information in. Alrighty, so here you have your academic history section. Once again, you're going to have the high schools that you attended, the colleges that you attended, which I'll go ahead here. And I will show you how to go ahead and search. Go ahead and delete that really quick. And you're going to want to add the college. Once again, you'll type in Lone Star. And then versus on ApplyTexas, where it counts it all as a system for Lone Star. And the Common App, it is going to ask you to select the unit or the specific campus. Generally, we're going to say that you would select the campus where you took the bulk of your classes through. And generally, this would apply also if you were applying for graduation. So normally the college that you, or the campus that you graduated out of would be the answer that you would put here as well. Do you plan on obtaining a degree from university? For this instance, it'll be Lone Star. So you'd either put no, or you would put yes, depending on if you plan to or not. You'd either put degree in progress or degree awarded. So for instance, if we got the degree awarded, you would just go ahead and, for instance, put the information in there. So let's say we're finishing in May. And we're going to graduate with an Associate of Arts. Then if you have a major, you can put that here. So for instance, if you were doing an Associate of Arts in Business or something like that, then you could put that here. If not, then you would just put none here. Then for Lone Star, we are a semester. So you would go ahead and click that. Are you still attending this college or university? So you would check if that applied to you. So if you're still planning on taking classes, you would hit yes. If not, then you would hit no. And then they would want information, for instance, if you hit no, okay, well, when was the last time that you attended this college? So you'd enter that information in. And then if you hit yes, then you would enter the first semester that you took classes. So I'll just go ahead and say January 2019. So now Lone Star is going to be saved here. The same thing, if you attended more than just Lone Star, then you would go ahead and do that again and search for the other university that you attended. Here, they have a little handy note there that lets you know transcripts are required for this school. So generally, whenever you're applying, you're going to need to send transcripts, official transcripts for every university that you have attended. And they need to be official, so make sure you don't send just the unofficial. They're going to need the official one. And here, depending on the university that you select, it will let you self-report the courses that you have completed and attempted. But of course, for Lone Star, that's not the case. And then all these other sections here on the side, we won't go through them, but the GPA, the test, the SAT, CLEP, all of that is going to be self-reporting. Okay. So of course you want to look up the information and enter it in. These will be verified. So of course, make sure that you enter the correct information, because of course, whenever you send your transcripts and any other documentation, that information will be on there as well. And so supporting information, this is going to be the same kind of sections as the ApplyTexas. So once again, you're going to have those experiences, any achievements that you've had, any documents. They have a section for that here. So say you want to enter your resume, your CV, your green card, anything like that. those documents can be added here. And last but not least, say if you selected a program, but you say, still want more information on it, or I want to contact them and ask them a question, but you don't necessarily know their contact information, you can click here and then all their information will be here for you. So they have their address, their phone number, the contact information, also link their social media and things like that. They also have their program details, so we'll show, okay, well, this is the deadline, this is how much the application cost, things like that. And this last little section here, while it loads. So say you didn't want to send email, they do have the option where you can submit a question. So they'll say, your decision, and then you can enter in additional information. So like why or what question do you have, things like that. And it'll send directly to the university. If you didn't, for instance, want to send an email, you could fill this out and they will send the question over to the university. As we mentioned earlier, here you can see they do have the option for you to put your first choice. So first, second, and third choice. That way that also can be included in the email. And so last but not least, after you've went through all of your application, you can go ahead and go to the submit application section here. So this bar, as you progress through your application, fill out more information. Of course, it will fill up until you have that green little check. And then the submit button will light up. And you can go ahead and hit submit. For some reason you want to just get rid of the program, then you can, of course, send it to the trash can or delete it. But that is pretty much the ApplyTexas application. Pretty similar. The information is going to be similar to what you would see on the ApplyTexas application. Did we have any questions, Christina, while I switch back over to the last little section?
So for the most part, I've had a student private message me with some questions, which I've been tending to, and I'm trying to find an answer for this latest question you sent me. But other than that, I believe all general questions have been answered thus far. But yes, we are open to any other additional questions that y'all have at this time. Y'all are welcome to unmute yourselves, or again, utilize the chat.
Yes. And while we are waiting for a couple of questions and y'all are thinking about that, I will show you really quick how to get your transcript. So the website is getmytranscript.com. Transcripts are going to cost $9. And they have different options for you to pick it up. So they have electronic, which generally is going to be the method that we recommend, since it generally does send faster and it goes directly to the university. They have the mail, where you can just send it via mail, or they have the pickup option. Christina, do you know if they're accepting pickup transcripts now?
So as of now, no. So
okay.
in-person pickup of hard copy official transcripts still is not currently taking place.
Okay.
Again, just electronic for now.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to double check to make sure. So yeah, so generally we do recommend the electronic as it is a bit faster. So whenever you go to getmytranscript.com, it will ask you, okay, well, what school do you want the transcript to be sent from? So once again, you're going to enter Lone Star College and it will populate Lone Star College system in there for you. After that, it will send you directly to the National Clearinghouse, which is the service that we use to send our transcripts. So it will give you information, if there's any reason that, maybe processing slower, or if there's a certain period, like say a holiday, that they wouldn't be sending it, that information would be right there on that for you. And of course, you would want to read over that if you were sending any transcripts out. So this is going to be the first page of the transcript request. So of course, you're going to enter your name in there, and you're going to enter your student ID number or your social security number. You don't have to enter both. You can enter either or to be pulled up. And then they have, are you currently enrolled at Lone Star? So once again, yes or no, depending on if you're currently enrolled. And then you also have your personal information. So of course, you're going to enter your address in there, your zip, things like that. You also want to enter your email and your phone number. If you would like them to send you text messages, so like when your transcript is being sent, when it arrives, you can click yes or no to this bottom section here, and they'll send you updates. Even if you do opt out for this, of course, you will still get the emails that let you know when it's been sent and when it's been arrived. So on this section, generally it's going to be for when you want to do pickup. Since it currently is unavailable, we will go ahead and skip past this. But if it was available, you would generally just check the campus that you want to pick it up from. Alrighty, and so the next part of the transcript request is going to be where are you sending your transcript to? So they're going to give you an option. So college, education, organization, employer, or myself. So of course, if you're sending it to go along with your transfer application, you're going to hit college or university. And after that, you're going to want to go ahead and search for the school. So you'll just start typing in whatever the name of your school is, and a whole list is going to kind of populate there. So for instance, if you want to go to UH Maine, you would click on that. They also have University of Houston Downtown, or whichever university, SAM, anything like that. You would just search it and populate it accordingly. So the next section is they're going to ask you, do you want to send your current transcript? And you would click on that. And why are you ordering your transcript? So if this is going along with your transfer application, you're going to hit transfer right there. And then here, the delivery method, as we mentioned, electronic is going to be the option that's available currently. So you would go ahead and select that, and it costs $9, as I mentioned, to send it. And then you would click here that you've read the terms and condition for sending the transcript. So very important, you want to make sure that you verify the information where your transcript is being sent. So of course, you want to look here, University of Maine, so if that's the correct university, and then you would want to look over here. So this is the method that you're sending it, so you want to make sure, okay, if I'm sending electronically, that it says electronic there. And say, for instance, if you're applying to multiple universities, you can click here and go to add additional recipients. So you would just then go back through and search for the university that you wanted to add. That way you wouldn't have to do two requests. You can just kind of have them all sent out at the same time. Okay. And then after that, of course, you're just going to hit the checkout button there. And then you're going to get to this page, and it's going to be the electronic consent form. I will admit that whenever I'm helping students with ordering their transcript, this is actually kind of the funny part because you have to sign it with your mouse. So it's kind of like a click and drag type thing. So it's kind of entertaining to see them try to do their signatures. They do have, the clear signature, so you can try, as many times that you would like there. And then you'll go ahead and enter your payment information, and then you would hit submit. So after you do that, then you are done. So you have submitted your transcript application, and you have now sent your official transcript. And another meme, right? You get a transfer. You get a transfer. Everyone gets a transfer. So pretty much this, kind of sums up what we do as transfer advisors, right? We want to help you transfer as seamlessly as possible, right? So we want to help you if you are stuck somewhere in the transfer application process. Like we want to help you get through the transfer application so everyone can eventually get their associates and then transfer to the university as easily as possible. Okay, and so then we just have our contact information here. At the top, we have transfer advisors, so me, Danielle, and then Jordan as well. And then we have our lovely career advisors. So we have Karen, Gianfranco, and Carisha. So if you need help with resume, cover letters, interview skills, mock interviews, they are awesome and they help with all that. So we don't only do transfer, we help with career as well. And of course, we're going to plug our Instagram again. So if you're not following us, go ahead and give us a follow. That way you can stay up to date on all the transfer information as well as career. And then we have our website there, so lonestar.edu/transfer-nh. Or if you don't want to type all that in, you can just go to lonestar.edu and then you will, in the search bar, enter CAST. So pretty easy, 4 letters, CAST, and then it will pull up our website. And then you can find, as I mentioned, those transfer guides, our contact information, our calendar of events on that website as well. All right, so thank you. I appreciate everybody sticking with me and all the questions that you guys asked. Once again, we are here to help you. So of course, if you have some questions that you think of after this, feel free to email us and we will definitely help you out. If you need us to look through the application, you have questions about the official transcript or how to get the unofficial, we can definitely help you with that. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it. And you guys have a good night. And if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. We'll kind of hang around if you have any last minute questions.
Thank you so much, Danielle. A phenomenal job walking us through this process. It is a very tedious process, but
Yes.
again, between Danielle, Jordan, and myself as needed, we will get you through it for sure. They are for sure the experts, more so than I am. I'm a little rusty. I haven't been doing that part as much as I used to, but nonetheless, we are knowledgeable. We're here to assist you as much as needed. Again, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, Ms. Danielle. Again, hopefully y'all took a picture of that last slide with contact information. I provided our general email address as well as, of course, our handles for Instagram and YouTube as Mr. Jordan and I referenced. Please check us out on YouTube as well. Some great videos as it relates to career and transfer.
Yes. Oh, and I saw a message. So our services are not only for students. So even if you are not a student of Lone Star, if you're just someone from the community, you can definitely stop by and ask us any questions. You do not have to be a student. So yeah, so if you're at Sci-Fair, yeah, you can definitely email us if you have any questions, and we can definitely help you out.
Thanks, Marvy. So yeah, again, by email, virtually, and so yes, even if you can't come in person, we're here to assist. We're here to help ease any anxieties that come along with this process. But yeah, some great questions, folks. Thank y'all for the time. I know we're a little bit over, so if there's nothing else, no. This is again a very tedious process, as y'all can see. It is very tedious and time consuming, but it is what it is, and we need to make sure we, kind of go through each point. Aww. Yay.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, Marvy. And kudos again to Ms. Danielle. So again, y'all know how to reach us, folks. If there's nothing else, we want to wish you a great rest of the evening. Hopefully we will be able to see some of y'all soon on campus. For those we can't, again, we look forward to serving y'all by email or virtually. So if nothing else, have a great evening.
Thank you, guys. Oh, thank you, Jordan.
And then there were three.
And there are three. Exactly.
Oh, hold on one second. Here.